Okay, so we are here again, and I think we need to repeat what we did previously. So let's start with a quick round introduction. And sorry for those who joined us initially. Due to technical issues, we had to change our way of streaming. Yeah, and we wish that one day we could join YouTube to little bit fix all these user scenarios for content creators. But okay, let's start our journey. So we will start with a short round of introduction. Then I'll give you a short overview of what is going on today. So yeah, briefly speaking, we're going um, to have this live session with behavioral questions. So today we have at this stream Olga, our mentor of product management Case Club, and our dear guest Anna, who is gonna play the role of a candidate for a senior product manager position. So we'll start with a short round introduction, and then I'll give you a review what is going on today. So my name is Christina. I have been working for as a product manager for more than 7 years, and also I have founded several projects and products, and this is my, I would say, real passion. And today I'd like to focus on one of our products. This is product management Case Club. So we help people to prepare for their product interviews. We have been working since 2021, and during this period, we collected a large amount of experience. We taught more than 200 students and also cracked more than 400 cases. So we collected all this experience just to help you to go through this challenging path of gaining new product position. So you also can get a free PM interview guide. So there you can see the examples of the questions of different areas, and also you can try to solve them basically, and to get understanding what can be waiting for you during this interview process. So this was my short overview that I would like to give a word to my guests and to Olga. So you can please start and give us a short introduction.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. My name is Olga. I'm a product manager more than 6 years. I've been working in different domains and now I'm working in an American company, TaxDome. We're making CRM for bookkeepers, for accountants. Even though my primary experience was in B2C, now I work in B2B, and our case today will be about B2B product as well. Today we have a slightly different format, and I think it can be interesting because we'll not have just behavioral interview. We'll have behavioral interview for the certain position, so it will be very real world scenario because as we know, for even when we have the same type of questions for different companies, for different positions, the answer can be and should be completely different. And today, Anna will demonstrate how to adapt your answers to the questions and how to try to predict what interviewer wants you to know. Yeah, so I will show Christina will demonstrate you the job description. You will have time to read, and we'll put it to the description in the video as well. And I think it will be quite interesting. And Anna, thank you so much for your for being brave to participate in this experiment because it's not easy to go stream to answer this kind of questions publicly. But I believe I expect very good answers from you as a senior product manager. So I think it will be interesting.
Let's see how I can do. Also as a disclaimer, some of the answers may be like a bit more vague than I would normally speak in the interview because yeah, we're speaking in public. So
Okay, so could you please also introduce
yeah,
yourself?
sure. So my name is Anna. I've been a product manager for over 8 years. I like products which connect users and data, and I'm a T-shaped PM. Um, my last company was SurveyMonkey, where I managed an experimentation team. And before that, oh yeah, and my biggest, yeah, so probably like the most impactful launch that I did there was the launch of AI styling tools. It's a product that allows to automatically style your survey, like customized design. And before that, I worked at a company called Buy Me. It's an Irish, was an Irish startup, similar to Instacart. So it basically is a grocery delivery app, right? So a three-way marketplace between shoppers, customers, and retailers. And there I managed the shopper driver app, retail integrations, and white label. And before that, I lived in Moscow. And my experience there is mainly within e-commerce. So I worked in product in a large marketplace for cleaners. And before that, I held various roles in marketing, business, in like pretty large e-commerce players. So.
Okay, thank you so much for the introduction. You have a very interesting experience, and I'm pretty much sure that you are already expert in answering such questions. But let's see.
Let's see.
Yeah, so so our agenda for today, so we start with this short uh, job description, so you can see it on your screens and you can read it through. So to get familiar with the company, with their values and what they expect from a candidate. Then Olga asks several questions. Anna answers these questions, and Olga gives her feedback. And at the end, we go through again this through this description, and Olga highlights the points that needs to be considered for this particular position when you are preparing for behavioral questions. So let's start, I would assume.
Yes. Yes. Can you scroll to key responsibilities and maybe about you if you can manage it? Not much. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So the thing that I wanted us to do, Anna, or is already familiar with this job description, and she had bit of time to prepare. And my goal today is to demonstrate that. We need to prepare to every certain interview, and our preparation can be different, can contain different steps, and one of steps is to understand what do they want and to think what can they ask or what they can ask, and to think what exactly do you want to highlight from your experience. And in the end, it will be interesting to compare what Anna decided to highlight and what I decided to important to highlight according to this job description. Yes, so and a bit, can you scroll a bit more below for people to see? Yeah, here. So this is requirements, which is written in the job description, and I think it will be interesting for people to guess. So like if you want, try to guess in the chat, like let's say top 5 um, skills of product manager who they are looking for, top 5 most important skills, what they are going to check on behavioral interview. And I think we can start. Um, so I think I will not ask, tell me about yourself questions and something like this. No icebreakers, and we will delve deep into particular behavioral questions, which I prepared. So, Anna, can you tell me, have you ever discovered a hidden customer pain point that wasn't visible in the metrics or feedback? Did you have this kind of situation?
Okay, give me a second. Yeah, so just to clarify, when we say not visible in the metrics, do you mean like it wasn't visible at all, or it wasn't visible when I was looking at the metrics? Because sometimes we have so much data, that it's hard to
Yeah.
find the right things.
Yeah, it's a good clarification. I think it can be both. Basically, what I want to know, it's something that wasn't that was hidden for you and your team, like for everybody, like for some
Sure.
reason, it can be any reason.
Sure. So, for example, when I was working at Buy Me, my product was I was responsible for the shopper product as one of the other products, right? So that is a product which has quite specific business scenarios, and sometimes the only way. Okay, so I'll go back into the framework. So the situation was I was working in Buy Me, and I was working for the shopper product because I was responsible generally for the roadmap of the product, so there was no specific action, but I connected with users on a regular basis to understand that we're not missing anything. And during one of those interviews, we discovered a problem with the functionality that we had in the product, like day to day, but we learned that shoppers were using it in a different way because it had bugs, but they didn't report them because it was like too hard for them or they didn't want to. And that bug, it actually influenced our daily metrics, specifically like the quality of the goods that we delivered. It was system. So once I discovered this, we could fix this quite quickly, and it allowed us to improve that particular metric significantly, but it wasn't visible in any of the feedback.
Thank you so much. And I didn't tell, I prefer always to ask the question and give the feedback immediately and to discuss because I
Okay,
will forget
fine.
everything. Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's amazing that you found very quickly. It's a quite tricky question in my opinion, and you found very quickly the example which exactly what I wanted to hear. Honestly, this is exactly what I wanted to hear. That's amazing. The thing that I would like to improve if possible is your star, like
Mhm.
the situation. Okay, you're working for the shopping product and like you thought that everything is fine, nobody reports some specific bugs, and at some point you found out that there is a bug. So is it a situation or is it already actions? Because it looked like what was your actions or your actions started when you discovered the bug, and what's the result, or maybe lessons learned, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it would be yeah, nice to hear in this, especially like it's not the question like, oh, when did you fail or something like this, but when you have something to say as lesson learned, I always like to add it,
Oh,
like
yeah.
if it's
Yep.
possible to add, yeah, it would be cool. But it's very nice that you found this example super quickly. Okay. Thank you so much. And let's try to move on. And I would like to ask you about a time when you received unclear, conflicting, or incomplete customer feedback, and how did you make sense of it, and which actions did you take to move forward?
Okay, that's a very good question. Mm. So I can give maybe an example actually from helping. Um, So the situation was that we were looking to improve marketing and operations efficiency, like marketing operations and customer service efficiency within the company. And that was my main goal. So that was the task that I was responsible for. I needed to create the strategy for it, understand how we're going to do it. And the actions I took, so I needed to understand based on what we're going to improve it. So an important part of that was feedback, user feedback, right? And the user feedback that I focused on was, first of all, internal feedback. So feedback from employees, operators, customer service, everything. And the other part was also people, so our customers. The feedback, since we were looking at improving things inside, so after the person has already called in, there was some tracking, but limited amount of tracking. So there was a lot of focus on this like qualitative feedback and why it was unclear. So for example, internal, let's say employees generally give you some information, but it's incomplete. So if you ask them, what do you spend most of your time on? They will tell you the things that bug them the most, or that they remember right now, or that they did today. And it was a challenge to create like a long-term picture, because they did complain about several things that were irritating them, and it's useful, but it didn't give us the full picture. So actually what we ended up doing is that we recorded their screens, and then there was basically a person who analyzed the screen recordings and actually timed them. And that way we were able to understand what kind of tasks are taking up the most time. And there was a series of tasks, but one particular one was taking up 30% of their time. So that was one of the tasks that we automated and increased the efficiency like very significantly.
And what was the result? Sorry, can you
Yeah,
repeat?
so we automated that task and we automated smaller ones as well. It was a very it took up a significant amount of time, but it was hard to do. But we did automate it, and we automate the smaller ones as well. And we improved efficiency like very significantly.
And so, as I understand, you had a controversial qualitative feedback, and after you checked for screencasts and you found good, like valuable feedback, and you improved. And did you prove that your decision was correct, that you chose the correct choice?
Well, we did see an improvement in the speed. So we saw an improvement in the metrics. And we did see an improvement at like so our metric was amount of time spent per customer, right? Or how many customers can be served by one employee. So we were looking at those metrics, and we did manage to improve them significantly.
Honestly, this answer was amazing. You know why? Because it will be spoilers, but highlighted it will be spoilers for the the part the after interview, but you highlighted, first of all, you highlighted the product strategy, that you were in charge, like it was important for you to create a strategy, and it's important for this position. They mentioned it several times, strategical thinking. After you highlighted that that you used qualitative feedback, which is very important for this company, for Gong. And after you said that you needed more data, so you didn't rely only on qualitative data, but you were searching for quantitative data, and it is very important for this position. So in this case, they asked you, I mean, I asked you about working with ambiguous data, but instead you didn't just answer me about this. You gave me 3 points why I should hire you. three important points, because as a hiring manager, of course, I'm looking for all these important things, all my values, which was absolutely clear. It's a spoiler again. Values of this company are clear from job description, and you gave me not one reason to hire you, which I asked one question, one reason, but you gave me three reasons, and this is very good. And yeah, uh, if you need to add something in your answers so far, I would maybe say just emotional, like to give the drama. Like what was like
Okay.
task was this, it was so difficult, but after all, we won everything. I mean, like it's just one small thing that you can improve in this question, but the rest are really impressed. Like it's really good, seriously. Thank you so much. Okay, so shall we move forward? And I have a next question. So, can you tell me about a time when that data significantly changed your product direction? So, did you have this information? Then you had one of this understanding of moving, and after you checked some data and changed the direction?
Mhm. That's a good question. Mm. Probably, I would say probably one of the best examples would be probably from SurveyMonkey. Uh, which was mm, so when I initially came in, uh, I became aware that there's a lot of negative customer feedback connected with the way our trial experience is organized today. Uh, and let's say it wasn't addressed before, like by the previous PMs or previous PMs looking at this. And it was my belief and the belief of several people in the company that we can improve that. So I felt strongly about this, and together with my manager, we drove this as an experimentation idea, right? So that we can improve this. And we ran a lot of experiments in this area, so probably around 7 or 8 different experiments. They were not large, but unfortunately, all of them, no, that's not true. So there was a couple of experiments that were successful and did improve engagement, which was our target metric. But they were less successful than we hoped. And in general, we saw that unfortunately, this direction is not giving us the metric results that we want. So after that, we basically decided to park this and focus on other directions like user onboarding, which we felt would be more, I would say, beneficial for the company and for us. So the learnings that I have here is that I think it's one of those cases when customer segmentation in feedback is very important. So it's very important to understand the feedback which is coming from, the usual feedback channels, which segments of customers is it coming from, because it can influence significantly the results of the experiments, right? So there are people who are willing to pay for the product. There are people who are not willing to pay for the product. So it's very important to have a clear customer in mind and make sure that the feedback is coming from those who the product is targeting today.
Thank you so much. And um, I would like to ask you to highlight the situation, like, okay, no, that's fine. I think you answered in the end. You pivoted your answer a bit. I got a bit confused in the beginning.
Mhm.
I asked you about the situation when data changed your direction. I
Yep.
mean, yeah, maybe you mean that you got the data from A/B tests and
Yep,
you.
that's what I meant, that the
Mhm.
experimentation data changed the direction.
Yeah.
So if you want, I can try to think about
No, it's
um,
fine. It's fine. The example is good, honestly. I think, like in this question, it was a bit lack of structure. That's
mhm,
why it was difficult to catch, like
mhm.
exactly, like the answer that I wanted to hear. And yeah, so the thing is that I didn't hear results. I mean, as I understood results, that new experiments worked.
Yeah,
And
so no, the results were that there were a couple of experiments that did improve engagement, and we did move them to production, but it was less successful than we hoped. And we basically parked this direction and switched to different directions, which we thought would benefit our, business goals better.
but did it work in the different direction?
Different direction did work. It wasn't connected with this. So on this, the next iteration that we were planning is to personalize experience for some users. So to basically, but yeah, I did not launch that, so I cannot tell you.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, see, I mean that about the star, like this structure.
Yeah.
So, for me, probably situation was like, okay, I was working in this company, like we were in charge of launching 1, 2, 3. It's good that you, by the way, I really loved that you mentioned that your hypothesis was based on customer feedback, because again, I think that for this position, it's important and it's very cool. And after, like, your hypothesis didn't work as good as you wanted, as you expected. So this
Yep.
is the situation, I think, like it's still the situation that
Okay.
you end up. And after, your task was like to understand, okay, what we can do, because like we got the results of A/B test and it
Okay.
changed. So,
Got
and
it.
we did, and like what exactly, like you not just analyzed the data, right? That okay, it doesn't work, let's try something new. But you delve in deep into the each A/B test, and you see, and you're building new hypotheses based on this, not only based on metrics which were like target metrics, but based on some counter metrics, some secondary metrics, right? So I think I would like to hear this kind of chain of thoughts and after like results. And I love that you talked about lessons learned, which is absolutely appropriate here. Yeah, it's just I think if you would, and the example is good. Yeah, I really think it's something that they would like you to that they would like to hear. Just the structure a bit changed, and it would be perfect. Okay, thank you so much. And let's move on to the next topic. And can you tell me about a time when you had to define a product strategy from scratch, if you had this experience? Which input did you use and how did you ensure it aligned with the company goals?
Um, so what do you mean when you say create product strategy from scratch, like from total zero or
Oh, I think it depends. I mean, I really believe that it can be different for every product manager. So some of us end up in the situation when we need to build it from scratch because it doesn't exist. Some of us need to improve. Yeah, I just want to know your normal approach for building product strategy. If you had this experience, if you participated in building product strategy, I would like to hear about it.
yeah, so let me give also, I'll try to give two examples here, and I'll explain why two, because they were different based on the size of the company. So in one situation, I was asked to focus on a very specific metric. So specifically, that was conversion. And conversion in context of so new conversion of new users, right? So and in that case, the way that I approached this, so the part my product strategy was to understand how can we drive that, and I knew that I needed to focus on like feature awareness, so onboarding part. The way that I approach this is I analyzed different sources, research data to understand what drives conversion, what kind of features drive conversion that we can focus our onboarding on. And that way I created basically 3 pillars, so 3 categories where it makes sense for us to focus. And within those pillars, then we searched for ideas on how we can move that metric based on customer feedback and existing user pain points. And those ideas came from feedback channels, research, and also brainstorms with other teams. So typically I gather some insights, or it's a collective gathering. In this case, some other teams participated as well because they had a lot of expertise in this area. And after that, so after the brainstorm was done, then those ideas were prioritized. So I used RISE framework in order to prioritize those ideas. We selected 4 ideas, and so there was like 20, 25, 30 ideas. We selected 4 ideas, and those ideas were launched. So out of those 4 ideas, 3 were successful. So they, which is very good. Like in general, growth is not like that. So for example, yeah. But so out of those 4 ideas, 3 were successful. And they, there was a decision to move them to production, right? An approach that I took, that is one approach to product strategy. When I was at BuyMe, the approach was that I was responsible for the product, for the full product, right? Not for a specific metric, but in general, what to do. So I started with the company goals. I tried to understand like what are the goals of the company and how can my product benefit the goals of the company. And after that, I came up with 3 big, let's say, pillars or types of metrics, which were costs. That's what the shopper product can influence, operational costs, retention of customers, so quality of service. And the third pillar was shopper retention. So then most of our work was structured around those 3 pillars. And it was a similar process. So we created ideas within those. And then the ideas were prioritized. But when we prioritized, it would also depend on the goal priority. So for example, in a certain quarter, costs were most important, then the projects connected with that would be prioritized higher. Or in a certain quarter, quality of service was important because we were getting a lot of complaints. So that's like correlated with the company strategy. Then we would prioritize those projects higher. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you so much. It's a very nice answer, really. I will explain why. I just have one follow-up question. So, let's say when you created a brainstorm with the team, how did you dodge the situation when team suggests not relevant, not very relevant ideas to your product, not relevant to product strategy? I mean, like the big strategy of the company. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, suggesting ideas is always good. So ideas, I welcome any ideas. I think it's more of a question of prioritization, right? So will those ideas be prioritized?
No, sorry, not only. I understand like you can prioritize, but let's say in the worst scenario,
Yeah,
you bring good like relevant ideas like which can improve really improve your important metrics, and the whole team they bring some ideas which are not feasible or maybe not
yeah,
important for the customers or maybe not important for the goals. How did you dodge from this situation?
yeah, that's a good question. So, well, in general, how I try to resolve this is when we start brainstorming, there is a brief, right? So, for example, the way that we did it at SurveyMonkey, there is a fig jam, which states the goals of the brainstorm, which says customer insights, and which gives a certain, I don't know, direction, right, towards the brainstorm. Uh, there was generally people and ideas which were not like in another direction, right? I guess it wasn't that bad in my brainstorms because generally there were some people who were focused. So at least the PMs would focus, on the or like PMs, lead designers. So I guess if I'm answering the way that I would approach this, generally there's a core team involved in driving the project and preparing this, and it's not just the one PM, right? So it would be me, it would be the designer, who is like the designer is the first partner, right? The most important. Then it would be other partner PMs, for example. It can be engineering as well. General engineering doesn't always participate in customer brainstorms that much, but sometimes they do. And this core team would actually drive the conversations. So at SurveyMonkey, we were also lucky to have research teams, and those research teams would also drive that. And then the rest of the people would follow.
Yeah, I got you what I mean. You know what I wanted to say? I understood what I really love in your answers. I believe 1,000% that what you talking about, this is your real experience. I totally believe. I don't have any idea, any impression that, oh, maybe you're not like you didn't have it real experience, and maybe you have like half experience, half fantasy, like no, not at all. I believe on 100%, and it's very good. It's very good that you have this impression, that you leave this impression, and in especially this type of question, because like this type it's not star, and you're still talking about the case, which I really love, that you're not talking like about some abstract things. Yeah, I think exactly here I really feel that you have good experience regarding product strategy. I really feel it, especially when I asked follow-up questions, you're able to give me all details. And I believe if I will dig deeper, you will give me everything. The thing that I think what can improve your answer here is product strategy question is a very wide, and like it's too many things that you can mention, and it's difficult to guess what is important for interior to hear. Like, and for this, maybe I think it would be nice to give a bit more tools which you use, for product strategy, like for building.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you either.
No, no sound.
And yeah, and that happened quite, yeah, unexpectedly.
I heard tools, product strategy. That's what I heard.
Yeah, everything was fine, but then suddenly something happened. No. I think she may have some connectivity issues because something is with her image as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but strange that sound disappeared first. Okay, maybe I can write her. But now we can't see her. I think this is a quite common problem in Germany with this provider stuff. I don't know if it's also a case in Ireland. No.
Not usually, but sometimes. Are you there? Or say something.
Try to say something. I think probably the issue was with your connection. Once again. Yeah. A little bit of problems. Usually, yeah, every time we stream something on YouTube, something happens. Opa.
Somebody new is joining.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think she's joining. But something is going on. How do you feel so far with these questions?
It is, I have to say I'm doing better than I generally do in interviews because maybe practice or maybe because it's not stressful. But I feel good so far.
Yeah, sounds nice.
I mean,
And do you
there's
know what is going on the career market and job market in Ireland?
so they are positions, yes, and I think there was a lot of uncertainty around the tariffs, and now that that uncertainty is gone, it's basically
Mm,
gone back to the hiring phase. Even I would say a bit untypical for the summer because usually it's
mm-hmm,
like they finish around, I don't know, May, June, or
mm-hmm,
maybe just this last year was really bad. So I don't
mm,
know. But I would say it's pretty good. Like, I mean, it's okay. No, it's not. But the reality of the market today, right, I think is that there's like, for every position, there's like
mm-hmm,
20, 30 candidates, like, I mean,
mm-hmm,
not even applying, but even those who will be interviewed. So the
mm.
competition is also hard. And then, yeah,
But do they normally, so are there normally positions only on the local market, or do companies outside Ireland also hire people?
sometimes it's both. So they're remote positions. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they're positions for like Ireland, UK, for example.
Mm,
mm, uh, or Ireland, Spain, like for some companies. So it depends. Like sometimes, like international companies, they have an office in several locations, and
mm,
they would advertise in several. But sometimes it's also focused. So
mm. Okay, great you're back. But we can let say something, please.
Sorry, do you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah,
My God,
finally.
terrible. My computer doesn't love Zoom at all. Sorry for this. Yeah, I a bit forgot what I was talking about. Yes, I was talking about like it's good to give them the more options, and I love that you gave two, honestly, that your two approaches. Maybe I would just like to hear a bit more like your tools for product discovery because it's the base of and goal settings. I asked about like how are you managing goals alignment of your strategy, and I think like this is the core of product strategy. But it's I think it's a good answer because if they do have concerns, they can ask follow-up questions just to prevent some of them, because like it really, you really made this impression that you know what you're talking about. You really had this experience, so I think that's great. And I think we have last question, which it's important to ask you. So, can you describe a situation where miscommunication led to a confusion or a setback, if you had this type of confusion in your life?
Okay, give me a second. So for sure. And okay, so a good example will be actually from I think from Buy Me as well. So an example, so the situation was I just came in as a new PM, and we were launching a product, a performance dashboard product for shoppers, so which I was responsible for launching. And so after the discovery phase, when we moved into the implementation phase, the project was split into, like in general, this project was split into several iterations, right? Like a very MVP type of approach. And when we were working on the first one, I discovered that, well, we're not delivering in time, right? And the reason, so I didn't, the way that I discovered this is we were not delivering in time. And then the actions that I took, well, my task was obviously to launch this and to understand why is this happening, and what we can do. So the actions that I took is I tried to understand what is happening. The development team was remote, and I was new, so it was hard. But I talked to several people, and then like not even in our team, and then I understood that the estimates that the development team gave were too small, and they were struggling to basically complete it. So my first, and then I learned that some people were like even working nights to actually make this, but they were not saying anything. And I mean, to me out loud. So after that, I organized a team meeting where we discussed this. And I suggested that we descope some of this functionality, right? So I started like an open conversation with them. Which parts of this are taking too long? What can we descope? So that's the first thing that we did. We found things to descope, and we launched the first version, the first iteration in time, just with less functionality. And the second step that I did, we did a retro to understand what happened. And in general, again, so I tried to gather information on what is like the problem. So I understood that the developers are very, like say, devoted, and it's hard for them to say when there's, they tend to overcommit, let's say, sometimes. So they're very passionate. So on the retro, we basically decided that if any project is ever estimated as an Excel, with t-shirt sized during like, that means that it's too large, so it doesn't go in. So it needs to be decomposed. So anything that is Excel, that means that we don't understand how to do this. So we changed the approach. We started splitting into smaller user stories, basically, the projects, and the estimates got better, let's say, in terms of the quality of the delivery. And we also added investigations when it was appropriate.
Wow, it's a very nice example, like because I expected you to, especially when, not even before I asked, before you started, but when you started, I expected it to be a story, how we miscommunicated with stakeholders, and like they thought that you will deliver the things, but you already knew that you will not deliver because you can't. And after all, it was a very nice story about you as a person who takes care of developers. And like we don't know about this company, but I think in some certain situation it's touchy, really, because not everybody, all managers, they're thinking about this. And I think it's very nice. And it's exactly what I asked, like about miscommunication. And in this case, and again, like when we're talking about miscommunication, it's still often about like fighting with stakeholders with slightly negative emotion, right? But you gave me like very positive emotion. I really love this example. Yeah, and yeah, regarding star, I you noticed that you missed T. You're like, okay, no, my task was this. Yeah, so
To
no,
be honest, it's very hard for me to distinguish between S and T, so maybe you can help me with that. Like, especially for a PM, right? Because I think a lot of the situations is like I create tasks myself, right? So where is the separation?
I answer for myself that T is not a task, it's more like challenge. Why was
Mhm.
it difficult?
Mm.
Why it's cool? And why you're proud telling me the story?
Mhm.
I think it's more about challenge. So not
Okay.
exactly I needed to do this, so my task was this. No, like what was the difficult situation about this? I think it's like when you think from this perspective, it's easier, I think. Yeah. But you're right. T is like from my experience is from star is the most common miss. Like I would say like 80% of people missing T at least sometimes. And it can be difficult after for interviewer, it's more difficult to catch why you're telling me the story, like what exactly you want me to tell. And by the way, I hear because you said T, my task was to launch and understand why it happened. And here I was confused as well. Like,
Mhm.
what are we talking about? About launch or about understanding? After all, I understood that we're talking about understanding, and you did retro, you did everything great, you talked with several people, but in the beginning, it was not clear for me.
Mhm.
You're talking about this, yeah. But example is very nice. Yeah, I think this is the last our question, and I'm very glad that we had time to ask exactly one question from each section that I pointed as important for this position. And thankfully, I almost forgot about communication, by the way, the last one, but it's important for any position. Yeah. Yeah, let me give you the general feedback, and maybe you'll give the feedback how do you feel after. I really think that you are good. You're good. I mean, your experience is very good, and you, in most cases, you know how to highlight your experience. And this position, I think, suits you a lot because I see a lot of overlaps in experience and in values. Like especially regarding we will discuss uh, a bit later, but regarding the customer feedback, how your customer centricity, you highlighted it many times, and it's important here. So I think it's your good part, and as I mentioned to you, I really believe that this is your experience, that you're not lying, you're not tricking me, and this is especially important in 2025. So when ChatGPT can create any story for you, so I see by some little details, and you're not over detailing, you're not giving me too much information, but with little details, it shows that it was real experience, real company, real team. Yeah, this is amazing. The thing that you can slightly change is the structure, like because sometimes, I mean, you're generally good, but sometimes you're missing the structure. And one more thing, I think, I mean, of course, you didn't prepare seriously to this exercise, but I think it will be interesting to check right now what was important for them. And remember, I've told you that in one question you answer not for one, but you gave me 3 reasons to hire you. And ideally, it would be cool to give me a lot of reasons to hire you in every question. If you,
Question.
yeah, sorry, I
It
freeze.
froze a little. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it would be ideal scenario, but overall, I think it's a very strong answer. So how do you feel about this mock, and what do you
No,
think?
I think it's good. And I told Christina that it feels easier than the actual interview. Generally, the interviews are not as relaxed as you. So I've also, I think in my experience that right now from the interviewing is that a lot of interviews also go deeper. So for example, the classic star is like not very common. So it works in some companies, but a lot of the time, like if you're speaking about a project, expect that they will ask follow-up questions and they can be very unexpected. Like, I mean, not very unexpected, but there will be follow-up questions specifically about the details. What was the trade-off? Like, did you think about that? What was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about this. I just decided to because like lack of time, I decided
yeah, no,
to ask.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying like from what happens in real life
yeah.
also.
But it's a good point. Honestly, I think that maybe next time we can focus on digging more instead of answer give asking wide questions like I did. I didn't ask too many follow-ups, only if it was not clear for me some moments. But yeah, I also think one reason why on the real interview getting a lot of follow-ups, that's exactly because they want to check that your experience is exactly your experience, everything that you're telling. This is true. Yeah. Okay.
So great. Do we need to go through this comments and job description? What do you think?
Yes, please. Can you share the screen with job description and that highlighted part?
One moment.
Not so easy. Meanwhile, I want to say great thanks, Anna, for your answers because it's really not easy. It's not easy to go through this stressful mock. Yeah, so I wanted to highlight and discuss with you girls maybe about this job description. So all this yellow, I think this is about customer centricity. And I'm very surprised how many times they're repeating same things in different words. And if you scroll down, it will be even more yellow. But see, about the job, it was like in the beginning. But after all, in requirements, the last part, it's written almost the last, and it can be confusing because I know people often skip the beginning and they read only requirements about you. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
tick
yeah.
all the boxes, but the yellow part in the end. And honestly, I would say solid user experience skills. Maybe it's directly mentions to customer centricity and capable of turning incomplete, conflicting, ambiguous inputs, maybe even not so much. So after all, the person can get the wrong impression that it's not so important. First three usually most important parts, but considering how many times it's appearing in job description, I would take it into consideration for sure. And after I think, okay, if customer centricity is so important for them, how can I highlight it? Probably I need to talk about customer feedback. Probably I need to talk about user interviews. Probably I need to talk about like various types of product discovery that I'm doing, that I'm testing, all my prototypes, I'm doing UX tests, etc. And like this is the thing that we always need to remember answering any question. Doesn't matter what they asked, but we need to tell something, at least one little point about customer centricity. The next is, I would say maybe blue is more often, is about data and execution. So it seems that they are data driven and they want the person who know how to execute. So the person who has hands-on experience. And it's something that should be highlighted in any answer as well. That you not only the person who is doing an amazing product discovery, but the person who is delivering and getting results, getting things done. I think it's one of their values, or either like just for this position, I don't know. Customer centricity is definitely one of values because they're talking about the company, etc. But here they're looking for the person who is delivering and who is delivering through data. And the third thing, which is very repeatable here, is the red. It's about strategy. They are repeating it so many times: strategy, out of box, creativity, innovative thinking. It's all about product strategy and generating hypotheses. So, this is the third thing, which is important to mention. Basically, in any answer, if you can, as much as you can. And I think after you cracked this job description and you understood that this is the most important part, it's much easier to prepare cases when you're thinking about cases. And of course, like during the preparation, I would recommend to think deliberately about things that when you are building product strategy, when you um, showing your customer centricity, and when you executing features. Also, they mentioned some collaboration, which is green, but not so often. Oh, and by the way, one interesting thing as well. Christina, can you scroll a bit up? Yeah, I put I put it slightly green, every detail, meticulous attention, and it seems like it's important for them as well because they wrote
Yeah.
it twice and in the beginning of key responsibility. Again, it's not requirements, but they mentioned about this, and I think it's something that can make you an outstanding candidate if you have some kind of these cases that can highlight your how meticulous you are. So basically, for preparation to exactly this job, I would recommend to focus on these four things, and probably most of questions will be around these topics. What do you think about this breaking down? Do you have maybe you don't agree, or and I'm very curious to hear when you were reading this job description. Did you highlight the same things or different ones?
Um, so some of them, I also want to make a confession that I've discovered that sometimes, like for example, every detail matters. That is something that, mm, like for me, it might be harder to find cases around that. Although that's not true, but maybe some things I'm trying to say are like new to me. And I, especially when I'm nervous, I skip And this is something that I need to train myself to do, because I've learned that sometimes I skip through like very important things that actually turned out, because this is like a pretty good, I would say, job description. So some of the job descriptions are not so good, especially I think in some of the bigger companies. I found that they tend to copy them. Not always, but sometimes, like from so sometimes the key to the position is actually, just in the beginning, and the responsibilities are the same for all the roles, or um, sometimes they don't even say anything. But you need to guess what they want. And so probably my recommendation would be also not only the job description, but anything. So what you know about the company, maybe there are some questions when you were answering, when you apply, there are questions that you asked. Those questions are very important. So
Yeah, it's a good tip, by the way, about the questions that they ask, indeed. And like the worst part that you not always have access to this question. Like you apply and you don't remember, you don't expect it.
no, you need to store it. And this is basically what they will ask you often.
Yeah, it's a very good tip indeed. Yeah, and by the way, the last thing that I wanted to mention about job description, of course, it's a good exercise to ask ChatGPT, give me top five skills or requirements for this position. Just be aware that ChatGPT is hallucinating. And for example, I did this exercise with ChatGPT, and the result was okay, but not so good. And yeah, so if you don't have time or you don't have skill, ask ChatGPT, but it's much better to
Mm.
try to to learn how to find out what they really want. Especially, I mean, quite often job description is good. Not always for sure. Sometimes it's just a copy. I agree with Anna. Sometimes it's just a lot of very broad words. Like I want a good senior manager, not a bad one, please. But yes, very often they give a tip. Yeah, thank you so much. I think we can stop sharing. And basically, yeah,
Yeah.
questions was about these colors. We had like five colors and five questions, something like this, or six. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you so much. Thank you for comments. I think this stream will be valuable for anyone who is preparing for behavioral interviews. And I think this is also relevant not only for product managers, because other professions are also asked behavioral questions. So this recommendation that Olga gave regarding the job description, I think they all apply to other positions as well. So yeah, thank you so much once again. Thank you for your time, Anna, and thank you for joining us. Uh,
You both. Thanks for the feedback.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.